Dear members of the international community, fellow partners, representatives from ministries and development organizations, we are delighted to welcome you to our webinar, AI-Powered Social Protection, Strengthening Service Delivery and Case Processing. My name is Sergey Gasparyan. I'm very happy to be the moderator of today's session. I'm going to present our speakers that are my fellow colleagues from Synergy. First of all, we have Lilit Gasparyan, Program Director at Synergy. She has been managing social protection digitalization programs, leading the technical advancement of the department, and working directly with the clients on the ground. Our next speaker is Haik Vartanyan, a seasoned project manager at Synergy. He has been managing different projects in different countries, working with clients on needs assessment, designing system design documents, and also conducting trainings. In our last webinar, we spoke about smart targeting in social protection programs, and today we will speak about how AI can be realistically used in the domain of social protection. Specifically, we will see different scenarios and solutions: an in-system caseworker assistant, intelligent document classification, household analysis with different action plan recommendations, how to identify duplicate beneficiaries, and case file intelligence for very sensitive situations. Lilit, my first question would be to you. You are someone who worked on many projects of different complexities, sizes, and also you have seen the evolution of the technology in this space. In your understanding, what is your overall take on AI used in social protection?
Thank you, Sergey. Indeed, we have been delivering integrated social protection MIS over many years to a number of governments. And I have witnessed that transition from paper-based into digital and now into AI. And this is actually pretty exciting because AI in social protection can bring a lot to the table. When speaking about integrating AI into social protection, I think there are two very important aspects to take into account. So number one is that AI in no way should replace the caseworker or the social worker. They are still the key players who will be working and who are working directly with the beneficiaries. However, AI will become a tool in their hands to make sure for them to be able to focus on delivering the assistance to the beneficiaries. And the second nuance that we took into account when incorporating AI into Auxilium, which is the Synergy Social Protection MIS, is that we don't want AI to play like a broader role in the system. Instead, we have identified very specific problems and asked AI to solve it. So during this webinar, we are going to look into such problems and how AI can bring value.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Lilit. So when launching an MIS, it is known that change management is critical, and usually a lot of money is spent on training, of course, on the development of the system. But we are witnessing so many cases when the system is implemented, but not necessarily there is someone who's going to guide the user. Per your experience, how does this situation is actually happening in practice?
You're absolutely right. Because as you know, delivering the system and actually having it used are completely two different things, and the latter is much more difficult. So there's a real change happening there, right? That's the transition from the paper-based to digital. The caseworker, they need to learn a new system and they need still to be efficient. Of course, there are some capacity building activities that take place. So very often we come on ground, we train a team who within the ministry or the government who would need to take the lead with the system. But unfortunately, turnovers happen, like this is the reality. And for various reasons, the team members, they get replaced. And now the ministry need to put extra effort to continuously train the people. So this is the first problem that we thought AI could solve, basically by replacing the help desk and to allow the ministry to sustain institutional capacity and to reduce training costs. Also, it will ensure consistency within different departments or regions because all the users will be guided by the same guidelines.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lilit. Haik, how do you envision the solution to this scenario that Lilit presented?
Thank you very much, Sergey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Today, I'll be showcasing the capabilities of Auxilium AI within the Auxilium system. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So the first question that we'll ask to the AI assistant is, how do I add a household member to existing household? As per our experience during the trainings, this is one of the most common questions that is a bit confusing for the caseworkers. And we see that just in a matter of seconds, we're getting a response and a very comprehensive step-by-step guide telling us the exact steps that needs to be reproduced in the system to add a household member to the existing household. And at the end, we even have some important notes stating that there should be some preconditions. The person should already exist in the system, or otherwise, if the person is not in the system, first of all, we have to create this person first, and after that, add them to the existing household. So the second question I want to ask to the AI is, how do I relocate a member from one household to another? This is again a very common and a little bit confusing question, and instead of going through the user guides, to the user manuals, training manuals, with just one single prompt, the caseworker is able to retrieve the specific information from the user manuals, already having this knowledge in it. So we see here that, again, we have the step-by-step process introduced, how one member should be relocated from one household to another. And at the end, we even have the source mentioned, meaning that this information has been retrieved from the change requests user manual. We have the document name, and we have the specific section from where this information is captured.
Thank you very much, Ike. Thank you. I think this is interesting, but we're still touching, the surface level of interesting features that the platform is offering. Next up, my question would be to Lilith. Lilith, in the domain of social protection, documents are critical for beneficiary verification, admission of applications, to make sure that service delivery is transparent. The documents are usually the source of proof in many scenarios. Per your understanding, how is document management currently handled by other existing technologies, even within Synergy Auxilium now, without AI? And where do you think AI can add value?
It's true that when working on a case file, the caseworker needs to deal with a lot of documents. And although we are digital, but still beneficiaries come with the paper version of the documents, right? And they must be reviewed, must be classified, uploaded into the system, and verified, all by the caseworker. And this comes with a lot of manual work. And obviously, when there is a lot of manual work, it may leave some room for errors, like, I don't know, name mismatches or similar issues. So that is why we thought of this intelligent document classification feature that can run through a bulk of documents and automatically classify them, generate a summary, and also verify them. It can run over the existing uploaded documents as well to make sure that what the attachment that we have linked to the record is actually what it's supposed to be. So if, for example, the person did not accidentally uploaded the birth certificate instead of the hospital invoice. So this allows faster case processing, and basically it reduces backlogs without increasing headcount. So additionally, of course, it may reduce a lot of eligibility errors, like catching errors in the documents faster.
Thank you, Lilith. Haik, how the technology can help in this specific situation regarding document management? Can we see that?
Sure, Sergey. So for demonstration purposes, we've created several households in our demonstration environment. So one of the households that I just accessed here, I'm in the notes and attachment section. So let us try to upload 2 documents in bulk and see the Auxilium AI categorization in action. So I'll go ahead and pick 2 documents. So I've selected them, And as you can see, during the uploading, the AI starts analyzing, scanning, and reading the document. So I have two PDF files here with the names of the household members, but from the caseworker perspective, we don't have any idea about the type and the category of the document. As you see, AI already categorized the files by reading the content and understanding it. So we have the title name, we have the document type. So you see for Henry Garcia, the document type is classified as a medical report. For Alfred Garcia, we have the daycare letter, and we even have some very nice summary description for both documents. So when I save the documents, they will be directly linked to the beneficiaries of this household.
But if I'm not mistaken, within the form, the text was available for editing. Does this mean that the AI is actually implying on this is the description of the file, or it's up to the user to take the responsibility to review and make the required changes?
The final word, Sergey, always remains behind the caseworkers. So the AI tool is just a recommendation and suggestion tool, helping the caseworkers to smoothly navigate through certain features in the system and help them to process them smoothly. So it is not saving automatically. It is not acting on behalf of the caseworker. It is just helping them. But the final action is to be made by the caseworkers.
I see. I see. Thank you very much, Haik. My next question would be addressed to Lilith. Lilith, if we take one step back, so usually governments, they run multiple programs that are serving different groups of households with different distinct socioeconomic profiles and a list of different eligibility criteria. So it's very mixed. On a program level, usually it is very direct and simple to understand this is one program, here are the eligibility criteria, and here are the individuals that potentially can join this program and receive assistance. But if we look from a wider perspective, how can we use this technology to make sure that, and I'm quoting you here, this is the idea that you are usually sharing during different meetings, to make sure that right people receive the right assistance, even when they do not know that they can join that program?
Right, this is always about people. And this is actually a very important aspect that we specifically wanted to focus on. Because while working with many governments, we have seen this need. So how is the process normally, right? Typically, there is an application for assistance for a specific program, and then it is being assessed in the scope of the eligibility for that specific program. And if eligible, the person will get enrolled as a beneficiary. However, this approach may generate some exclusion problems. I mean, what if there are other programs that the person could really benefit from? Of course, there can be referrals made if the program officer notices that other programs can be of benefit. But the problem here is that the questionnaire, the intake form where the program officer is guided by, it is normally limited or adapted towards the target audience of that specific program. So some important aspects can be missed. So that is why we thought of this intelligent eligibility assessment that could really analyze like all of the household related information, its members, its income, vulnerability related information, socioeconomic health, etc. And then so do the assessment, provide the analysis, and then match it with the actual programs that are onboarded within the MIS towards their specific eligibility or target criteria, and provide an action plan. So to actually see what other programs are there that the person could benefit from. So with this, we will have better matched interventions, fewer exclusion errors, and consistent action plans. And of course, smarter referrals across different sectors.
This seems to be an area where technology can really help in the context of social protection and access to more beneficiaries to required help. Haik, how can we use the technology to solve this challenge?
So again, we'll use one of the test households and we'll ask AI to validate the household for program eligibility. So while the response is generating, let me just quickly show you the chat tracking, the tracing mechanism. So the tracing mechanism allows us in live mode to review the process of our request, right? So we see that the role instructions are provided, which tools and skill sets are used during the prompting. So everything is transparent in the system. Now we see that AI is trying to analyze the information in Alfred's household, and then based on all the information gathered, it compares this information with assistances and programs and their criterias. And we already have the assessment response, and let's go through the summary together. We see the date of the assessment. So according to AI, there are 3 members of the household identified. We have Henry Garcia as the head of the household, and there are some key flags that AI is highlighting at this stage. So we have the disability registered for Henry. We have for Alfred Garcia, the minor of the household, a key flag that he is not attending school, and AI is bringing this to our attention as an at-risk child. And we have Ruth Gilliard, an elderly person in the household who is actually deceased, however, is still active in the system. So a recommendation by the AI is to update the household count in the system. Now we have the income summary, the aggregated income for the household and per person income. We have the overall household socioeconomic conditions summary. And we have the vulnerability assessment per dimension and per category. So for example, the housing conditions are critical. We have the makeshift cardboard roof, for example, as a critical factor here. We have some shelter challenges confirmed. There are some high-risk economic, health, and other risks identified. Now, as per all this information identified, AI is providing us recommendations on which programs and assistances this household is eligible for. And it's important to note that at this stage, this household is not benefiting from any program in the system, right? So we see that one of the eligible programs is the cash support with dignity. We have the assistance with medical, keeping in mind that the household had some disabilities registered. So certainly they're eligible for this type of assistance. Then we have the people with disability and other programs listed here. Some of the programs, they are potentially eligible because they're partially match the requirement. And there is a list of programs where they are not eligible. And eventually we have the critical next steps recommended by AI, such as updating the household composition because one of the members is deceased, verify Alfred's school status, obtain proof of property ownership, formalize guardianship, and initiate multi-program enrollment.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Haik. This is very interesting. This is opening up a gate for great potential in this case, in this scenario, especially for caseworkers, to identify more people that can join those programs that they are implementing or coordinating. But I have a question to you, Haik. So whatever is happening to this moment is happening within this chat window, which is great, actually. You're getting recommendations, you're getting insights, analysis, but how can we go one step further to use these insights that are in this great chat window to create something that we can actually use within the system?
That's a very good question again, Sergey. So before providing the question to the AI, let me just minimize this screen and go through the structure of the household in general. So we have the household one-stop shop section. We have the applications, referrals, case files, and any other entity linked to this household. And obviously assessments are part of any social protection system, and they are part of the household. Assessments take place during the initial phase. They take place over the time once the household conditions are changed. Now, based on the information that I gained for the eligibility, I want to ask AI to create a new assessment record for the current household. Now the assessment and the action plan has been generated based on the eligibility criteria assessment. So right now we see that AI provided us the link to navigate to the assessment form. Again, I want to highlight here that AI is not registering or recording anything in the system. So the final word and final action remains behind the caseworker. It has just provided me the link to navigate to the assessment form, which will be pre-filled, and then I'll decide either to modify or to save it. So by just clicking the navigate button, we see that the system navigated from the household page to the new assessment form, which is already pre-filled with the necessary information. So under the assessment text area, we see that the household information is summarized in a very nice way. And under the recommended action plan, we see the logical actions that need to take place around Alfred's household. So once everything is verified and checked, I'll just click the save and close. And the assessment will be linked to Alfred's household. Sergey?
Thank you, Ike. So in this case as well, it was a draft element that the caseworker or the user needs to review and then click the button to save it.
That's correct, yes.
Perfect, thank you very much. I see that we have more participants that are joining us, which is great. Thank you very much for that. I want to inform you that we're going to have a Q&A session right at the end. And we have such a wide geography. You can add the questions in the Q&A section. Just click the three dots to open the More panel. There's a section Q&A. You can add your questions there. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end. And our experts are here to make sure to give the replies per their own experience and the advancements made by our AI lab. So moving forward, while you are doing this, Lilith, let's speak about another important area in terms of social protection and AI, how those elements can be connected, which is the problem of duplicate cases. And I think based on your program management experience, you witnessed this situation a lot, and specifically in terms of reference documents, there is a distinct area on functionalities for helping with tracking duplicate beneficiaries. And current technology maybe handles that in a moderate way, but how is the seriousness of the situation per your experience?
Well, where does this problem comes from? Because like in many countries that we work with, not all citizens or beneficiaries have a national identification document. It's not always available. And specifically, it is the most vulnerable population of the country that doesn't have an ID. But ironically, this is exactly the population that needs the assistance most, meaning it will be a huge inclusion error to make like presentation of an identification document as a mandatory requirement for receiving any cash transfer or any other assistance. This will definitely not work in an inclusive social protection environment. And technologies such as biometric verification are quite costly. I mean, in an ideal scenario, there would have been like a nationwide database of biometric information where the ministries could consult, could maybe integrate with APIs to identify or verify their beneficiaries. But in reality, this is not always the case. And the process of having that established is sometimes very lengthy and costly. While these problems bring to issues like double tipping or ghost beneficiaries or other. So what we asked AI to do is basically to check the records and to provide the list of potential duplicates, because in the reality, like people, they want to abuse, I mean, not always, but they may want to abuse the system. And let's say the same person could apply for assistance in two different regions with two different stakeholders, and in the result receive the assistance twice, while this would take off the resources of someone else who's really in need. This is why AI would provide the list of potential duplicates, but again, this will be just a red flag, a suggestion for the caseworker to take it forward and to do an analysis to investigate the situation.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Lilith. Haik, I think this is the right moment to showcase the functionality of that AI skill to see if we can potentially identify those duplicate beneficiaries.
Sure. Thank you, Sergey. So in order to demonstrate the duplication checking through the AI, again, I'll be using another household with the household member named Ronaldo Van Hoos. So I'll use the person assistant in Auxilium, and the prompt that we'll use, the question is that to ask the AI to detect the current person's potential duplicates. So while the response is being generated and potential duplicates are found, let me just mention that in social protection and government systems in general, the security, the data governance is very important. And the AI tool is not providing any response which is outside of the user's permission set. So while prompting AI for any question, I will not receive any information which is outside of my permission set.
Basically, if you are not connected or you're not the person who's working on that specific case or with that specific household, as a user, you're not going to be able to open or get information about that case or person using this tool.
That's correct, Sergey. A simple example is if I'm in the social welfare department and I want to retrieve it or ask AI any information about the child case file and I don't have the permission to it, I'll simply just not receive any response around that and no information will be provided.
Interesting.
All right, so we have our current person, Ronaldo Van Hoos. So we have some personal information about him. We have the ID card, the passport number, the age, and the date of birth. So we can also see that in the header part, one potential match has been found. So let's scroll down and see what AI identified. So we see that Ronald Van Hoos, who has a very similar name to our member, the name is not exactly the same, please pay attention, but it is very similar to the person that we're trying to check the duplicates. The passport number is completely different. The ID card is missing. However, the date of birth is exactly the same and the name is almost the same. So with the semantic search, we're able to identify that this person is most probably the same and we're dealing with the duplicate in the system. Moreover, our member is currently benefiting from the Restore Cash Support with Dignity program, and the status of the application is approved, meaning that the application is ongoing and the beneficiary is benefiting each month. And when we scroll further down, we see that the duplicate member that has been identified in the system is benefiting from the same exact program, meaning that the member has been registered probably in two different states, regions, or areas under a slight different name, however, is benefiting from from the same program twice. Sergey?
So in this way, one caseworker can identify that information.
Yes, that's correct. And eventually the assessment result would be a recommendation from the AI to immediately verify the second record and make sure that they don't have any duplicates in the system.
All right, very, very good. Lilith, my next question is again addressed to you. We're going to speak about something even more sensitive, which are the sensitive cases, for example, that involve children. In those scenarios, the case history can be very long and documentation is critical, and usually they might have different caseworkers because the duration is long and sometimes courts can be involved as well. It's interesting to hear your insights on what does that look like on the ground in reality.
So what we've seen is that case files, just as you said, with sensitive data where child is involved, whether it's child protection issue, child abuse has been reported. So it can, unfortunately, it can run like over hundreds of pages across many years. and across multiple caseworkers. The children they may be placed in different institutions, institutional care, foster care, and again, as you mentioned, for adoption cases, very often courts get involved. So handovers from one caseworker to another becomes a critical issue to make sure that no important aspects is missed during this handover process. And the caseworker needs to deal with a lot of documents with different institutions and in different formats, such as schools, police, healthcare, courts. So the same features can be used by performing intelligent Q&A on the case file to allow to get all of the important details related to the case, thus making the handovers more efficient. Another thing is that when having to go through court, the caseworker needs to be well prepared to be able to present, because the court decisions are very scrutinized and every word matters. So again, this tool can help the caseworker to present well during the court. And one thing that is not very often talked about is the secondary trauma and burnout that the caseworker get when having to review and reread all the graphical images of the abuse. So again, the Q&A tool could help to get the important information, and basically, and most importantly, will allow to spend more time with the child, doing counseling, etc. So rather than working on the documents.
I see. Thank you very much, Lilith. Haik, how can we help with technology for this specific case?
Thank you, Sergey. Again, for demonstration purposes, we've created a very realistic case file. And let me just walk you through the structure of it. As you see, we have the case file for the child, and we have a lot of entities and records linked to it, as Lilith mentioned. So we have the court records, we have the presentation for admission, risk assessment, care plans, family support plans, and much more. So we're dealing with massive amount of information here, and it will take a lot of time from the caseworker to start working with this data if they're new. Now I'll use the case file assistant here, and the first question, according to our scenario, is that I'm taking over this case from Kathy Smothers, who is the current child case worker. What do I need to know first about this case file? So now AI is analyzing the information under the case file 19, and it is going through all the attachments, all the documents, scanning them, trying to read and understand them. Then it is scanning the information captured in the forms and eventually bringing us the summary, highlighting the main aspects about this case. All right, so let's go through the summary. We have the case file, we have the child name, Leonarda, we have the household that the child is registered to, we have the case priority as urgent. So this is already a hint to us that we need to be very careful with this case file. So under the key issues, we see that in the documents, we have some abuses registered. So under the critical assessment plan, we have the notes by the social worker, and we have the plan of action as well. So under the plan of action, AI is recommending us to conduct a full safety assessment of child's living situation, engage with caregiver to discuss concerns and provide child protection guidance, and much more. Then we have the supervisor's directive here. We have the key team members working with this case file identified. And some critical next steps would be to review all the documentation, coordinate with adoption department, the adoption case, monitor this case very closely, and engage with the supervisor. So logically, the next question would be to try to understand what forms of abuse has Leonarda experienced and when were they documented. Because from the first summary response, we understood that there are some abuses registered. All right, so here we're seeing that some detailed information about the abuses is shown. So we see three types of abuses registered: physical, verbal, and emotional. The abuse is documented across multiple sections in the case file. We even have the specific sections where the abuse is recorded. We have the timeline of events, and we have the key impact areas. And eventually we have a note that for detailed information, we can check the case notes, which is linked to this case file, and we'll see not the summary, but the full notes by the caseworker. And one last question that I want to ask to the AI is, are there any concerning patterns or red flags in this case I should be aware of? So this question is not only about Leonarda, who is the child of this case file, but about the overall situation in the household. So AI will not only analyze the information in the case file, but also in the linked household. So we see that the response is generated, and the very first thing that AI is highlighting to us, and the status, the severity is critical, is that there is a linked member, an underage member who is pregnant and is living in the abusive household. So this is a critical red flag case. We see that there are some other issues identified as well. We have the complete household vulnerability network. So for each member linked to this case file and to the child, we have a thorough analysis, and we have the statuses for all of them. So Leonarda, who is the child linked to this case file, she's under the case focus, obviously. And then we have April. She's under critical risk because she is 16 and she's pregnant. We have Janine. She's under risk as well. And the reason behind it is that she is disabled. She has health problems, and her mother is incarcerated. And we have some other members with moderate risk. So after that, we have some other compounding risk factors listed. And eventually, we have a very nice action plan based on the priorities and severities of the information that AI analyzed.
Thank you very much, Haik. Thank you. So this tool can help with analysis of all those documents and with potential action plans as well. This is very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that we're going to have a Q&A session. If you have any questions, please write them in Q&A section. You can go to the tab below. There's a Q&A section. Or if you're not able to find it, you can directly send it in the chat as well. It's okay. If you have any question, you can let us know. Moving forward, I think it's very important to speak about other groups of users. Let's say in the domain of social protection, we have, of course, caseworkers, people who are working on financial data, but at the same time, there is the hierarchy. They want to see the results. They want to monitor the progress. There are also M&E specialists that are using the system. And it's interesting to hear, Lilith, from your perspective, how those users specifically focused on monitoring and evaluation and reporting are using certain functionalities and what are their needs, basically, and in your understanding, how AI can help.
If the audience have seen our previous webinars, Auxilium does come with a built-in analytics module and as well as M&E framework. So configurable indicators, real-time tracking, dashboards, maps, charts, sophisticated data analysis module that allows generating reports ad hoc to analyze information. And indeed, what we've seen so far, and thank you, Haik, for the demonstration, is mainly targeted for the caseworkers and social workers to make their life easier. But as you said, there are M&E departments, there are people like supervisors, high-level management who want to ensure that the programs are being executed effectively and that they are achieving their goals and targets. So for them, they can still, of course, they can use the built-in modules to create the reports, but also AI can help them to create such dashboards automatically. I guess it will be better to have it visualized, so we can ask Haik to demonstrate how it can be.
Exactly. Sure, Lilith. So what we'll ask AI is to create a high-level dashboard on beneficiaries, use client data source, include filters for program, add charts and aggregated data on beneficiaries. Now pay attention to my prompt that I'm not asking AI a specific report. So I'm just providing a high-level request. I'm not specifying what categories or filters to use during the generation of the report page. I just specified that I need this report page generated for the client data set, meaning that the beneficiary data from the applications currently captured and stored in the system will be analyzed, and the structure of the entity will be analyzed, and the AI will decide what meaningful and useful reports can be generated. So now, as our report has already been generated, I'll ask AI to navigate to the page. All right, so we've navigated to the reporting page. We have the name of the report named Beneficiaries Dashboard. And as you see, AI decided to put just one filter for the programs. And once the filter is applied, the aggregated data that is available under this reporting page will be updated accordingly. But obviously, all the reports that are generated here, we can modify them and add some new categories, new filters, and use the Synergy's inbuilt reporting capabilities. Now, let's go through the reporting page together. We have the total number of beneficiaries, we have the total number of applications, number of households. We have some very nice reports generated with bar chart type. For example, we have the beneficiaries breakdown by program, we have the distribution of assistances by category. As a pie chart, we have the beneficiaries by region, beneficiaries by approval year, and we have a nice table of beneficiary summary breakdown by program and region.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Haik. This is very impressive. Although using this technology, it's very easy to create dashboards, but still you're saving, 3-4 hours just to configure everything and then change. This is great. Ladies and gentlemen, I see we have some questions in the chat as well, which is great. We're going to quickly filter and understand what I see. Lilith is directly replying to some of the questions. All questions would be answered either during this webinar or even after the webinar as well. But before we do that, I want to ask Haik, what are the models that were used for those scenarios and how flexible it is?
Thank you for the question, Sergey. This is a very important question because we already demonstrated the capabilities of the Auxilium AI. So let us go through the backend part, the configuration part. So this is the AI configuration screen. There are certain tabs available. So under the platforms, we see that currently we have the Anthropic's, the Claude's Anthropic integrated and ChatGPT's OpenAI. But generally, we can support any AI model here as an integration. But given that the government systems are usually hosted locally and there are the data governance and data compliance requirements, our AI model is also available locally. So once you set it up locally, the data will be processed and stored only within the government infrastructure and government systems, which will be aligned with the data governance.
Thank you very much, Haik. Moving forward, I see we have more questions, which is great. And there are multiple questions regarding security and access to data, and I think we have to speak about it because we're dealing with government information. But just a note from my side, of course, this is not the first time that Synergy is implementing such solution, and there are different modules available in the system, including AI modules as well, and Haik will provide details for that part, that are facilitating the security aspect, especially access to data and personal data as well. Haik, how can we resolve this?
All right, so as we already mentioned during the demonstration today, first of all, the permission set is based on the user permissions. So the user will not be able to ask AI and retrieve any information from the system which is outside the permission skill set. So the RBAC permissions that are available for the user are applicable in the same way to the user who is dealing with the AI assistant.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Haik. There's a question regarding using the chat box to manually add different prompts that then later on the models are using and providing. Can we have something that would make it run automatically? And I think, Haik, you can provide your insights regarding this point. From my side, since I had experience to speak with our colleagues who are working at the Synergy AI Lab, these are some of the features. And the team decided to pick 6 real-life scenarios where AI solutions can help. We decided not to go very broad, but to pick real life problems. And this is something that is constantly evolving. And we're able to add more models, more connectors, different skills, as Heike already mentioned as well. So this is something flexible. And moving forward, since AI, especially in social protection, is something very new, we decided to pick specific problems, and just automating a skill that already exists should not be a problem. Heike, do you have anything to add? Please, please.
So we also try to avoid a lot of automatic interventions by the AI, just to keep that the user is always in control. Plus, it may not be necessary to run it automatically like every time, because the caseworker, when dealing with a specific case file or entering information for a specific person, may see the need, if it is somehow flagged as a risk of a potential duplicate, to then run the program. But of course, this is part of any potential, let's say, evolution of this, but important nuances must be taken into account before it goes into fully automatic.
There is another interesting question. Let me read it from the chat here. I wonder whether AI can detect a forged evidence or any other document submitted by either party to the court for determination without the necessary commencing independent forgery litigation. So this is regarding potential legal action from the case.
Well, what it currently does is to do a verification on a case level. So it can flag the anomalies that the caseworker should review, such as, for example, if the name doesn't match, or a signature is missing, or the document is submitted under the wrong category, or, for example, the provided certificate does not align with the declared informations. So those are some red flags that AI can highlight and say that, okay, this requires closer human attention. Yeah, but make autonomous forgery determinations, not exactly.
Not exactly, I see. We have a question from Frank regarding how we integrated AI models to our database. Dear Frank, I replied to you as well. You may share your email. We will provide a very detailed information regarding what programming languages were used and so on. And I think, Heike, you can help us understand what are we exactly doing to limit hallucinations, because this is critical as well. How that part is taken care of.
Indeed, this is a very important and concerning question. So let me share my screen again. So how we're tackling the hallucination issue is that our AI models are based on certain skill sets. So by creating certain skills and linking them to our AI models, we're able to guide the AI and to provide specific direction to provide the answer. So instead of leaving a lot of space to improvise or to provide some vague answers, we're able to create as much skill sets as necessary per type. So for example, you see that we already have some predefined skills here for the workflows, for the eligibility checks, for the duplicate person detector, and much more. And what is great about these skills is that, first of all, they are modifiable, so we can modify them anytime. And the second thing is that the admins of the system can later define any new skills and train AI accordingly.
Thank you very much, Heike. There is a question in the chat that is highlighting that internet infrastructure is a main problem, and sometimes it takes too long to have great internet connection. If whether there is a way to use the offline version and also have the security. If I may add a reply here, we're currently not there yet to try these functionalities on fully offline solutions. However, our colleagues are providing an offline solution for multiple functions covered by DMIS. In general, and taking into account that the models you are able to host the models on local data center. Still, I think just for having the requests with the models, you need to have internet connection, at least at this moment. But we will take it into account, and maybe there are some recent advancements that we can use. In general, whatever we are presenting is developing very quick, and new solutions and new models are constantly being introduced. And as Heike mentioned, there is a special area where we are able to add more models, more skills, and best practices that would be used by governments, because the priority is not just to have a great tool, but to have a great tool that would cover specific problem in the government context when you have data of citizens and so on. And there are many regulations there. Let's see. I don't think we have additional comments and questions at the moment. I want to inform you that if we have skipped anything, that means that we're going to provide a detailed reply after this webinar as well, and we're going to send you the recording too. And just to highlight that indeed these technical advancements are new, but our Synergy AI Lab is actively working on launching those features and then adapting to different domains as well, to the domains where Synergy is providing management information systems. So if you want to hear more about this technology, or if you have any additional questions, you may reply to the email that was sent to you, or just send us a message, and we will make sure to send you the webinar recording link as well, so you are able to rewatch it with your colleagues and so on. I know we have such a large geography that a lot of people were not able to join us, and we're super thankful that you dedicated this 1 hour out of your busy schedule to join us. So thank you very much for your attention. It has been our honor to showcase this technology to the community of social protection, let's call them enthusiasts and practitioners all around the world. And we wish you good luck in all your projects moving forward. If you're interested in this, you can drop us a message via email, and we'll be very happy to share more information about it. Thank you very much. Have a great end of the week, and bye-bye.